Welcome. Welcome everybody to Stanislaus Soup. Yay! So welcome to Stanislaus Soup, and this is an exciting day for us. Like Ruben said, it kind of popped up out of nowhere, but it really isn't out of time. When I think about this community, when I think about Stanislaus County, and I think about just the last 7-8 years of community work and just getting to know community groups all throughout Stanislaus County, there's always neat ideas that I get to hear. You know what I'm talking about, right? Neighbors having ideas, families having ideas, people having ideas for children, and sometimes they just stay on the shelf as great ideas. So when I started to read the book, The Wisdom of the Crowd, The Wisdom of the Crowd is about the idea that we have abundance in this community. And sometimes we just need a space to bring that community in together and just some very different questions about a different future that we want to create. And so we're going to pose some very simple questions on your table while you're up getting soup later on. And we want to hear from you today. We want you to know that one of the greatest resources in this room is you. Is the money today for the projects going to be enough? I would say in some cases not. But I would also say that what's most valuable today is not the money. It is the collective wisdom of this group today. Not about the choice that you're going to make on who's going to get that, but the feedback that we're going to ask you to give to each of the presenters. You're going to find some sticky notes on your yes, right there. We still haven't created the space yet. We have not created a space to capture these things, you guys, by the way. So we'll figure that out before the night's over. We'll probably come up with a piece of paper that'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want you to come up and tag your ideas for each of the presenters. Phone numbers, if you want to volunteer, if you want to connect with them, if you have some feedback from them. That's what we think is the best gift that you can give in this room tonight, is to be able to share that freely. So I can tell you one thing. I'm going to be playing with this whole people connection group idea for the next several soups. We're going to dial it a little to the left, a little to the right. We're going to figure out how to maximize your gifts in a soup fashion, right? Connecting everybody together. We are not the funder. Stanislaus Soup is not the funder. We are the space creators. We're your host. And I do have some people to thank tonight. I want to thank John Black for allowing us to use his space. John Black, thank you. Thank you. This is a good fit, John. Good fit. No, you can't have the mic, John. I want to thank, Joe Duran's not here, but Joe Duran has been a supporter of ours, both financially and with a lot of wisdom, even on the phone this morning. He's out of town. So I want to thank Joe Duran. I want to thank RJ. RJ is, the name of your business is what is it? Sencal Tacos, all right? That's the salsa on the table. Yeah? Right? Woohoo! And John Evans is a supporter of ours, so we want to thank John Evans also. Yeah. I knew you weren't going to be able to resist this. John is about economic development. He's about prospering families. So I knew that we could find, and I'm going to tell you, the food today, yeah, we're serving soup in August. We are. But the soup is our excuse for dialogue. It's the menu, it's the venue, it's the exchange, it's the tool for you to look across the table and to have that dialogue and really just talk about it. This isn't the election. We're not going to fight over it, right? But freely talk about the ideas that you heard. Talk about what you liked about them. What did you hear? Thank you for that. I have a timer right here. Isn't she great? This is Maria, my volunteer. Yay! Maria. Right? So talk about those ideas and write down those ideas. We'll find a way to tag them. Maybe you're going to be creative for me, but we're going to get those ideas back. And I think we're ready to go. You are the funder tonight. Okay. Hi, Melanie. Hi. Okay. You guys ready to start? All right. Our first one, Amy Ann Soto with The Right Mix. Welcome.
I am starting a nonprofit. We call it The Right Mix. It's a nonprofit that will be focused on creating an educational healing place for at-risk youth. At-risk young adults ages 16 to 25, and we will be mainly the ones. It'll be more like, for example, foster kids who had a traumatic youth, and then they're out of the system, and they, then they're on their own. And we're just trying to create an educational, healthy buffering zone between childhood and adulthood to kind of give them a little bit of leeway into adulthood that they may not have had otherwise. We want to do individual and group education. We want to promote awareness, leadership, team building, and integration into the community, because we feel that our young adults are tomorrow's leaders, and we need all the resources and everything to make this community as strong as it can be. We want to teach classes such as life skills and budgeting, but also little things like comparing prices at the supermarket, or balancing a checkbook, and cooking and being on their own and taking responsibility for themselves. We want to have a lot of peer support groups and our art and creativity and all kinds of things that are going to come together at this spot, and just kind of have it be a hangout place for them to come and kind of take a break from life and heal. We just want to, I'll just come out and say it. I was one of those kids that would fit in this group. I had a traumatic youth, and then I was 18 and out on my own. I was pregnant, and that was it. And now that I'm grown, somebody asked me, if you had the means, what would you do with it? I said, you know what? I'd create something for kids to kind of create this buffering zone so that they don't have to struggle and learn the hard way like I did. And it just kind of give them a better chance at life than what they would have. And now it's coming into more than just an idea. We actually have a board members, and we're just about ready to submit our paperwork for the nonprofit. We just really would love the support of the community for this event, for this idea that we have. I think it's really good, and it's something I'm very passionate about.
Okay, next up is Dr. Mike Atinsky for the vending vehicle. Yes.
I'm Michael Atinsky, and I work for the Stanislaus Sheriff's Department. I'm also a pastor. And for the last, I'd say at least the last 3 years, I've been highly involved with groups that meet in our community of Modesto and Stanislaus. And we have a wonderful county. We have a wonderful city. A lot of people are very interested in helping the homeless and helping those who are without jobs right now. So about 2 years ago, I started thinking, what could some of the men and women I know do to earn a living, get off the streets? Now, I'm not talking about just someone off the street. I'm talking about someone who has decided they want to change their life, and they want to learn life skills and job skills, but still it's hard to find work. Some may find difficulty working because I work at the jail. I work with those who have felons and bad records, and so they're not often hired quickly. So a thought came to mind that almost anyone can work for themselves, but they need to be empowered and helped to do so. So a thought came to mind that what could I do to help someone work for themselves? And that's, first of all, find them a location. I'm not a wealthy man, so I can't rent buildings for them to sell out of. But I do come from a line of, my family line goes all the way back to the first of the 20th century. My grandfather came in through Ellis Island. And over a 7-year period here in the States, by peddling junk, he brought his whole family over from the Ukraine. And then later bought a farm and a truck and had the American dream. And his children to this day still sell fruit in Wisconsin, and they do a lot of merchant type of things. My mother's family the same way. They were able to produce markets and have stores. So they were selling and they fed us. We didn't live high on the hog, we weren't wealthy, but we had our needs met. So I thought, let's go to the basics. And I thought of this hand truck idea that you can look at. You might have a picture of it. And we built a prototype. But basically, this is a universal vending vehicle. Matter of fact, I added a legacy universal vending vehicle. So it's a love truck. Okay. And I had it painted green, so I've gone green. And so I thought we're recycling men and women who we think sometimes are leading worthless, empty lives, and we're recycling them and making them entrepreneurs. Because a lot of the men and women in jail that I meet with have great ideas. They just don't know how to focus positively and work honestly and bring those ideas to fruition. So I thought if we could subsidize and offer a love truck to them, we could help them decide what they may want to sell. That love truck is a blank slate. It's a white pellet. And so, is that right? Pellet. And so all they have to do is be asked 2 questions. What could you sell and where would you sell it? And we are endeavoring to make the connections with the city and the county and people who supply merchandise to put them to work. And I'm going to be presenting this at the job fair August 27th there at Hanshaw School. See if I can find a fabricator in that area that would like to make money making them. Thank you.
Our next brave soul, Juan Diaz, Recreation Innovation. Let's welcome Juan.
Hello. So I've always wanted to be a comedian, but I'm not very funny, so I guess I'll gladly settle for sharing my love for this community and the individuals in it. So to begin with, my name is Juan Diaz. I work for a nonprofit called Latino Outdoors. We're a national organization that shares the lovely experience of being outside with community members. And so, number one, I know that I can't show you the community center because it doesn't exist right now. But I do, what we have located a space, and my team is amazing. And so far, I know that I have to make you fall in love with me so that you can fall in love with this concept or idea. And I'm going to do that by sharing this blog post that will be up on the National Park Foundation's website under the Trail Talk blog. So, the caterpillar is a prisoner to the streets that conceived it. Its only job is to eat or consume everything around it in order to protect itself from this mad city. While consuming its environment, the caterpillar begins to notice ways to survive. Kendrick Lamar, Mortal Man. My work inspires passionate flames, and so I must speak from within my caterpillar. The humble insect known as El Tigre, that's me, that's my outdoor name, was able to cross bridges created by many, many mentors and friends. And in some marvelous way, this caterpillar became connected to the whole, to the greater. And thus was able to find nature as a means of self-identity and survival. Now, to translate, I came from a poor urban neighborhood, West Modesto, and having been raised by a single-parent mother, I was lucky enough to leave my apartment complex as a youth. Subsequently, the call of the wild was lost in all the excuses created for my situation. Money, resources, and the knowledge of these great places and spaces were all the obstacles that I faced just to get to my first park, which would be Yosemite National Park. The connection to La Tierra, the earth, was only possible once I had all my ducks in a row and my basic survival needs were met. As an adult, I found Latino Outdoors, I found my calling, and I found my parks. And so the concept I want to share with you tonight, or today, it's still today, is Recreation Innovation, a community center for the outdoors. Our mission is to connect our communities to the outdoors. We want to establish our community connections to verbs, to careers and steward-style leadership. And in terms of verbs, I want to get people out canoeing and hiking and biking, to get people outside. And Pokemon Go has done a very good job at that, but we want to do it in more intentional ways. And so in terms of careers, we want to invite out park rangers to come out and speak to our students and talk about all the fascinating careers that are out there for that, and ways that we're developing our own pathways to careers in the environmental sector, conservation, and recreation. And finally, steward-style leadership. Stewarding means two things. It means taking care of each other, people, and it means taking care of our land. And so, just as I will invest the skills and the knowledge that I know into you and to everybody who participates into this idea around me, they will too, because it's a dual relationship. And also, we want to steward our spaces, our urban spaces in West Modesto, where the alleys are trashed. We want to steward those spaces, but we also want to go outside and do service projects like we're going to be doing this month in Yosemite. And so, with your support, you'll be funding our bike kitchen, which will be a bike program that we'll have for our community, young or old, with bike tubes, lights, helmets, and various other things. Thank you.
George Ratana, Finding Our Way Home, Salida. Let's welcome George.
I'm going to take this thing off if that's okay with you guys. Good afternoon. My name is George Ratana, and I am with Finding Our Way Home from Salida. A little bit about me. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran, did 2 tours to Iraq. And the reason why we do what we do is because one motto we live by was no man left behind. With this outreach, we engage a lot in reaching the men and women living in homelessness in our county, especially in Salida. The group that's come together is not just your ordinary group where churches represent, there's representing churches, concerned citizens that live in the county. I represent a group called Operation Rescue. We've all come together collectively for one purpose, and that is to reach those that are living in these circumstances. And one thing we've learned is that we try to live by this motto, is no one left behind. As we were getting ready for training, was that a lot of times we hear things like we want our parks happy from we want it safer from But what we fail to realize is that they is us. They're a part of us. They're our community. It could be our brother. It could be our sister. It could be my mom. It could be my daughter. I have a daughter. But in engagement training and reaching out to them, we've realized that it's got to be more than just giving them the supplies, because we can give them all the supplies, but a lot of times it takes just remembering their name. So with Finding Our Way Home to Salida, we have been practicing and engaging and reaching out and genuinely caring for these people, realizing that could be any single one of us, looking in the mirror. None of us are exempt from any situations. And with us out there, we have already been through different engagement programs. We've been through different trainings, and we already have a group of volunteers that are ready to go. One of the things we've done recently is we've passed out these blessing bags. It's not necessarily what's inside the bag, but the note saying your community cares about you. There's a number there, and that's what's important. That's what we're trying to do with Finding Our Way Home to Salida, is not just about giving, but about getting to know these individuals, getting to care for them and showing them that you are a human being. We still care for you. No matter where you're at, where you find yourself, there is still hope. It's got to be something that comes with it. And the group that is meeting in Salida, the group that's coming together, these are people that genuinely care. And I shared this with a friend of mine recently also. One thing in the Marine Corps was I spent 7 years in it. Is we were all from different backgrounds. We were all different races, different religions, different people. But we came together for one person, for one purpose, and that was for the love of our nation, and we became a brotherhood. That's the same thing with the group I represent. We're all different representatives, but we've become one group in reaching and engaging in those that are homeless in our county, in our city of Salida. We've done so much outreach. We're ready to launch out, and we're going to bigger and better places. So with that being said, representing this group, it means a lot to every single one of us. We are there because we want to be. It's a voluntary group. We're there because we meet once a month, and we've begun the process. And if we can just change one life, I'm fine with that. If I can just impact one person, if I can just change one person, that's one person off the streets. That's our purpose, is to engage and show these men and women, children that we've met, that we love them, we care for them, and we're here for them, and that it's never too late. As long as you have breath, there's always hope. Doesn't matter where you find yourself at, we're letting them know your community cares about you, your community loves you. Again, it's not about what's in this bag or how much money. It's about the fact that they realize there is hope and there is people that care. That's all I have.